the more heat you are allowing to your space, the more cooling, and the more cooling, the more energy you are using, right? So finding that balance is very key. Balancing all the four concepts that we talked about earlier. So looking at the building physics looking at the specifics of the building physics, what we want to solve looking at our climate is what we call heat transfer. How am I going to reduce the heat transfer into my space? And there are a number of sources of heat transfer in our spaces, right? So taking this building, typically we have heat from the outside environment, from the sun, where the sun is giving us both light and heat. We have sources of heat also from all the light, all the bulbs that you see here is not only generating light or lumens, as you will call it, is also generating heat. That's why when you want to change your bulb, where you touch it is very hot, right? So it's also allowing heat into your space. All these lights are also bringing heat into your space. And another part is from our bodies, right? So our bodies also generate heat. So all these things, you want to see how you can extract this heat out of your space. And the basic principle is it will always move from a warmer area to a cooler area, right? So it will always move from a warmer area to a cooler area. And you've seen all the sources of heat that we've identified: solar irradiation, heat from our bodies, and as well the exchange between the ground heat source, right? So what do you really want to achieve? You want to achieve what you call a good design. A good design is a design where you are able to basically reduce the cooling demand for your building. Balancing all these things, balancing the materials that you use for your windows, the material you use for your wall, the size of your windows and all that, finding that balance so that you will reduce the cooling demand that will be met from a mechanical system, that will be met from your air conditioning system. Because when you reduce that demand, it means you are reducing your energy use in the building. And when you are reducing your energy use in the building as well, you are reducing your utility bills, right? So looking at both external heat gains and internal heat gains, finding that balance and making sure your design is optimized enough to reduce the cooling loads, right? And the last aspect I want us to look at, one of the other concepts that we need to look at, is the concept of window to wall ratio, right? We all might have the perception around having large windows in our spaces, right? Because the idea is you want to bring in more air into your space, right? But that concept is a bit tricky, right? Because the more you have, the larger your window, right? The more you bring in both light and heat. And the more lights you have is good, but the more heat you also put into your space will mean that you need more mechanical system to space, will mean you need utilities are going to go up. So finding a very optimized system to see the optimized window to wall ratio that you will need for each of your facade, especially the east and the west facade as heat gain coefficient. I'm sure we've all heard about this double glazed glass, single glazed glass, triple glazed glass, right? The whole idea is how you want to balance the heat and light transfer. So you want to reduce your solar heat gain coefficient, right, into what you call the solar heat gain coefficient. So you will see that from the on the left hand side of this orange picture, that means you still need a lot of cooling to suck out that heat, right? And you can compare to where 100% of sunlight is coming, but because it's double glazed with low E coating, you are is only allowing 33% of that. Other concepts can you look at in terms of reducing the heat gain into your space? I'm sure you've seen a lot of these devices, solar heat gain, with looking at improving your solar heat gain coefficient, called shading devices, right? So you are able to shade each of your each of your elevation, looking at horizontal shading, working best for the south for the south wall, and the south wall based on your hemisphere, while the vertical shading works best in the east and the west and the west wall. So these are just concepts where you can use, and these are practical examples of different solar shading devices. Some of them are even have mechanical systems attached where they are able to trace the sun path and create some shading as well, and they even make the buildings more beautiful. So if I don't know if you've gone to the website itself, it's called edgebuildings.com, right? Edgebuildings.com. You can create an account. It's free, as Temlola said, it's free. On the top right corner, you can create an account, and you can use it to design any of your building, any building that you can look at, whether homes, apartments, hotel, any building that you can think about, and even mixed-use building. What it does is it creates more of, based on the building that you want to put up, based on the typology of the building, it creates the base case for your building, and based on the location of the building, because that is the key parameter of a building, right? When we talk about a green building, it has to be location specific, because if you design a building that's supposed to operate in Abuja and put it in a place like Mongolia, they are not going to perform the same, right? Because of the climate. So what Edge does is designs your building based on your local climate, and that's one of the differentiating factor between Edge and other certification system, right? So now you are able to implement a whole lot of measures. So on the app, it shows you a couple of measures on energy, on water, and the embodied carbon in material, which you can implement and show you the savings your building is going to achieve. So the difference between the base case and your improved case, which are the green measures that you are implementing in your building, that's what translates into the savings, right? Next slide. So we were supposed to do this, but internet is becoming an issue for us. So now that we have your contact details, our contact details is also displayed. I would like you to just take